Throttling the Pie with Richard Gregorio. With Richard Dennis Gregorio.
I like it. No, it's funny, Rich. You before we start recording here, you had some issues with underpowering on a Raspberry Pi. I actually did the I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of it, but the hack chi thing to the Super Nintendo Classic today, and it was funny because I didn't bother plugging in the adapter. I just plugged it into a USB port and was like, "Yeah, this will be fine," and it wasn't.
No.
Underpowered.
Yep. Yeah, it's weird with those mini systems where, like, in order to run hack chi, you have to use the cable that came with it. It won't, for whatever reason, it won't work with just random ass cables. Is it a voltage thing?
Well, hack cheat. No, the actual all this stuff worked fine. Flashing it and all that, and then I threw over a handful more ROMs. Like, it wasn't much, just to mess with it. But my issue was hooking it back up to for display. I just hooked the HDMI up, and I was like, well, I'll just power USB, and I actually connected it through the switch dock, thinking that would be enough.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
No.
It was just me being lazy. I really just didn't feel like moving it to the other side of my television.
I'm fairly certain the first couple times I tried to hook mine up, I didn't even bother plugging it into the wall. I just plugged it into the USB on the TV, and it didn't work either. So,
yeah, and I knew better, but I was being lazy.
Well,
so.
Yeah.
But
hey, so you guys will find this funny. I had planned on. I told Peyton about how we're doing the network and how we're going to be doing like different shows and whatever. And he was like, "Well, can I have a show?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, you can have a show. Whatever, we'll put it on for you." And he was trying to come up with names, and the name he liked the best that he came up with himself was Virgin's Corner.
Oh God!
Like, no, you're not having a podcast called Virgin's Corner.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to just completely deep six all of our careers right now,
yeah. No, we're not doing that, bud. He's like, well, what about, can I just be the only one that talks about video games? And I'm like, no, you cannot be the only one that talks about video games.
No, because then that would basically ruin 90% of our content.
Right.
The rest of our actual show.
So he's gonna come up with something, and I'm gonna throw it up. Rich, have you figured out? Are you gonna do some Gregorio Unchained on here?
I didn't know we were doing individual stuff. Like, what's going on? What's happening?
You missed the whole text thread. Where have you been?
Somebody's not reading their Google documents.
Oh no, I'm not. No, nope.
No, we're expanding out because
you're making me do homework.
Yes.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, by the way, I'm not drinking Windex. It's just looks blue in the glass.
Yeah, I was wondering what the fuck that was.
It's water with squirt crap in it.
Oh, are you sure you are not a cat?
I don't know. I needed some replenishment. I kind of overdid it last night, so.
Oh, is it that hydration multiplier shit?
Yeah, it's not great. Full sweet.
If it's like the shit from Hollywood's Wedding, you're gonna be pissing yourself soon.
Yeah, that'll be all right. Be fine. So, no, Rich. So, this was kind of a thing. So, look, we realized that twofold thing. We tried to do some deep dives into stuff before, and it just evolves into nothing, which is fine. But we would like to do some deep dives into, maybe deeper looks into certain comics or beer or sports, so you don't get insanely bored. And so, like, this way, if we want to do a sports one, you don't necessarily have to be there. But if you want to do something that's like deep in comics or whatever that I have no idea, I don't have to be there. So, like, we're going to keep doing what we normally do, but then we're going to try to get some more content out there.
You're kicking me off the podcast?
No, we're going to be. It's going to be like the X-Men, where there's like the Uncanny X-Men and the fucking. I forget all the god. Of course, there's like 8 billion fucking X-Men teams, and now I can't fucking remember them all. But the Astonishing X-Men, the Uncanny X-Men, the fucking Extreme X-Men, but just with podcasts and not as popular.
Yeah, kind of like a network thing. So,
Yeah.
just branch out, have like a sports centric, one, do one that's maybe more geared for something like comics or whatever, something, and then maybe like all those general stuff that we do here anyway. We can always bring it all back. The problem is that a lot of stuff that we do here tends to just go into nothing anyway. So,
And then and
Who
here's
the
where we
fuck is
piss.
Steve Jeltz?
He used to play for the Phillies,
Oh,
and he
yeah,
had an Uncle Jerry
that's
girl.
our the Philly sports or sports centric one. So
Yeah. And then like when Kyler wants to come on and talk about his yee shit, then
yeah, so I pitched him the idea that if he wants to come in, once, and it's weird, like we could do it once a month or once every couple months or however long. It don't really matter.
yeah.
If he wants to come on and record with me about fishing or anyone else really, it just different things. Let's try to get a little bit deeper content in, because I think we all have a lot to say, and we all have people that have a lot. One of my favorite episodes we did was with AJ talking about crypto way back early on, because we actually did a deep dive into something.
Superman's dog.
I would say, is that when no, not Superman's dog. Is that your favorite episode because Richie wasn't there?
Oh,
No, one of my other favorite episodes is I think the first time Rich and I recorded alone.
it was good. Yeah.
Yeah, when I was sick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fuck you too, bud.
But that crypto episode was the birth of the Johnny Bench jokes. So
That's true. Yeah, that's when we killed Johnny Bench.
Yep.
And then Richie resurrected him with the with the chupacabra.
So no, that was kind of I don't know. Bob had thrown out that idea, and mainly because like there's a lot of different stuff that we each have to say, and we might not all be interested in it at the same time. You guys talk about a lot of just different shows that you watch. I don't watch hardly anything. You know what I mean?
See, he's trying to say he has a life and we don't.
Well,
no,
I
I just
say
don't.
we should try recording at like 6 o'clock on the Saturday or something. So
yeah, I can definitely do stuff like that during the weekend. It's like
Yeah.
practically impossible for me during the week. So
Bob's exhausted and I'm wide awake.
Listen, Bob's always exhausted. It doesn't matter what fucking time it is. So it doesn't matter. It's just whether or not I'm going to be awake or like half awake.
Even on a Sunday, I'm at 5:30. So this is late.
Shit, dude.
I'm old.
Yeah, I'll never understand you old people waking up so fucking early all the time.
Is it to catch the early bird special at the diner?
That's what it is.
The dog wakes me up.
He's got to hit on them blue hairs, man.
Mm.
Them blue hairs at the diner. They give the best gummers.
It's not saying anything. That's what I love about all this.
Coming up with a nice way to say it's like fucking a catcher's mitt.
Speaking of Johnny Bench.
Blue emu. now Viagra flavor.
Oh man, that's too good.
So
yeah, that'll go for it, man.
So now that we've gone on that, what do we actually want to talk about with this episode? Because we kind of just hit record and didn't. We've got a couple things down on the list. Rich, it looked like you were reading the Google document that I sent
just now. Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. Is there a topic on there that sticks out to you? I did throw a couple down.
Well, Ed just asked who Steve Jeltz was, so that's good. What's DYKPS?
Do you know Philly sports? Yeah,
I had to think about that one.
Skip that one. It was just Max Headroom's birthday. The real guy. Can't think of his name.
Oh, so let's talk about some Max Headroom.
Yeah.
Max Headroom, man.
I don't know enough about Max Headroom other than it was his birthday, and I think he was the dad in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Wasn't he not the bad guy's dad, but you know what I mean?
Oh, I don't know. I was just going to ask what you guys remember about him.
He was the bad guy's dad in.
No, not the actor. I
Oh.
mean Max Headroom,
Are you
like
talking about the incident?
character.
Okay, so there's a few things. Like I remember like the television show stuff bits that would pop in on whatever. Fox. What the hell was it on?
Honestly, I don't remember. I remember he had his own show. So
I thought it was on Fox.
He was also Moloch in Watchmen, the Zack Snyder movie.
really,
Let me see.
yeah, but
65,
but
January
fucking Max
4th.
Headroom was not. The actor was.
Matt
I'm
Frewer,
talking
yes.
about actually Max Headroom, not the actor who played him.
He wasn't even CGI. He was a guy in makeup. It was Matt
Yeah.
Frewer. Yeah.
Yeah, it was ABC. It ran for a couple seasons.
He
to
sold
the tune
Coke
of
or Pepsi, one of those things.
yeah,
Which isn't
14
even where
episodes.
he started in Europe, in England, on the BBC. He was it was a character there was like an actual fucking like TV movie made to explain how he became Max Headroom and shit. Like it's really interesting if you dig in. But he was like they did this whole like TV movie to explain his appearance, and then he basically was an MTV VJ in England. And he was supposed, but his whole reason for being was he was an investigative journalist who was cracking a case that the one world government had introduced these new ads that it overloaded your brain and caused you to die. And he was supposed to be anti-consumer, like anti-corporate, all that stuff. That's what the introduction of the character was, supposed to be counterculture kind of deal. And then they ended up selling Coke. He sold New Coke, was what, and that's where his character ended up. And then he had the TV show on ABC, like you said, in America. But he originally was supposed to be like an anti-establishment like VJ on basically the BBC's version of MTV.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. I just remember the ads kicking through for the American TV show, and mainly because it was like 87, 88, so I was pretty young. But that's about it. Like it really wasn't until much later that I learned of all the other stuff. There, and particularly the Max Headroom incident, which is something I know we'll talk about here. But yeah, no, that's basically my foray into it. That's all I knew for quite a long time.
Yeah, and it was like, to the point that Richie brought up earlier, it's funny too because he looked like a CGI character, the way they did the makeup and everything, and that was the whole idea, was that he was the first computer generated personality, or whatever you wanted to call it, pop culture personality. But it was an actor in heavy makeup and prosthetics, and then they would just paint like or they would paint backgrounds, like actual like normal painted backgrounds, and then move them behind him to create the digital effects around him. And then he would do they would skip the frames to make him do his trademark like stuttering and stuff to make him seem artificial.
And yeah, I know you guys remember it wasn't Max Headroom, but it was very Max Headroom stylized in Back to the Future 2.
Yes.
How it hops into the 80s cafe, and they believe it's at like the machine where he's trying to order stuff.
Yeah.
With like the Ayatollah coming up on there and Reagan and all that. But yeah, I remember too. And
there was also like in RoboCop, like when he's going back to his old house, there's the real estate
Johnny Cab?
and the TV. No.
Oh.
Johnny Cab's Total Recall.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. This is like there's a TV real estate guy when he goes into his house that's for sale.
Oh, that's right. Oh crap! Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I need to look this up again now. Yeah,
I think that was kind of like Max Headroom inspired.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because it's like a little it's like a kiosk type deal.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. And it was funny too because it's all around the same time, because RoboCop was what, 87.
And then I'm gonna say it was it was inspired by Max Headroom. But if you remember, Captain Planet,
Mhm.
the chick with half her face had a little robot. No, a computer AI sidekick that I think was voiced by Tim Curry. I can't think of the. Oh, now I gotta look this up.
I thought Tim Curry was a different bad guy on that show.
You may be right, but let me Captain.
Now we're really getting deep here. Captain
Yeah,
Planet, man.
he's our hero.
The only thing I really like,
Solution down to zero.
the best thing that ever came out of Captain Planet to me was the Ted Turner Captain Planet sketch on Robot Chicken, and then oh, Cheadle.
Yes, and College Humor.
Yes, I can't remember why. I can't remember Cheadle's first. Don
Don Cheadle.
Cheadle's for Captain Planet. His live action one was fucking phenomenal.
You know what was bizarre to me, and I think this has been posed online before, and I've kind of searched it. Why was there never a Captain Planet / WCW crossover? Because they were so notorious for that back then.
Yeah, there was a RoboCop.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I mean, they had
the Doctor was Dr. Blight, and it was voiced by Meg Ryan for one season, and then by somebody, Mary Kay Bergman, who sounds familiar.
Yeah, that name sounds really familiar.
She's in South Park. Okay. Anyway, the robot's now a robot. The computer's name was Mal, and he was voiced by Tim Curry for 5 years.
Oh shit!
And he was the artificial intelligence husband and henchman. It says, which really sounds fascinating.
Yeah, that's really.
But he was just a face in a screen, so that's why it kind of.
Does that bring it back to cyber dildonics? Listen, anytime I get a chance to say the term cyber dildonics, I'm going to have to
go for it, and why
not? But so, all right. So Max Headroom, because it started off in England as a VJ kind of anti-establishment thing. Then we have the Max Headroom incident. Now, do you guys know anything about that at all?
Yeah, it's really funny. Whenever you would put this note in our document, Danielle and I just revisited this not that long ago, about a month or two, because the 35th anniversary of it was November 22nd, because they occurred November 22nd, 1987. So it was pretty big because it actually happened in Chicago. So the anniversary was not a big deal around here, but it was made the rounds. So if you want to dive into what it was,
the Bears.
I didn't put two and two together with it being basically in your backyard too. But yeah, so this dude in a Max Headroom mask with a voice modulator and a piece of corrugated steel behind him that someone was rotating broke in on the sports broadcast. Or was it a football? No, it was a football game, wasn't it?
Yeah, the first one, he was during a sports segment on their newscast.
Yeah, and then later on a different channel they broke in, and it was just this dude, and they were referencing the Chicago World News or something like that, and this will give those nerds something to look up, and basically it was the first ever pirate broadcast that took over any kind of major television.
Now, you do know, like, the second one was kind of funny, right?
Yeah, because they were like spanking his ass and stuff. And
yeah, so like the second incident they said actually occurred. It broke in 2 hours later after the first one, so you're talking around 11 o'clock at this point on a PBS station. And at the time they were airing a Doctor Who serial.
Doctor Who, that's right. Yeah.
And so it goes on to it, but yeah. It says the video concluded with a side view of someone's exposed buttocks being spanked by a woman with a fly swatter, while a voice yelled, "Oh no, they're coming to get me!" With another voice responding, "Bend over, bitch." At that point, the pirate transmission ended, and normal program resumed after a total interruption of about 90 seconds.
So yeah, that's I mean, look, if you're gonna interrupt my Doctor Who, at least make it entertaining, and it sounds like that was pretty fucking entertaining.
Yeah, are you familiar with that whole incident at all?
I've seen video of it, a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting. I I've been going down the rabbit hole on YouTube, and there's this dude who has a channel called the Y Files or What Files or something like this. Shit, I wish I could remember what the actual fucking channel is called. Give him a little hat tip. But it's really interesting, and it's got all kinds of different conspiracy theories and things that happen. The Y Files, that's what it's called, and it's got all different kinds of conspiracy theories and different like incidents that happened and stuff like that. And it's just really cool how you know he talks about all the history and everything. So, but there is another. Speaking of televised incidents,
Before we get off Max Headroom, that incident though, real quick, you guys also know that no one's ever figured out who it was, and it remains a mystery.
yeah. They still haven't figured out who the fuck it was.
So yeah. Anyhow, go ahead.
It was Max Frewer, the guy that played the dad in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Okay. Anyway, so the other televised thing that we really should talk about, considering our topics and everything, is Vince McMahon back in WWE so he can sell it.
Hide your wife, hide your kids.
Pretty much. I mean, but going back to when all this shit broke down, what did we say? It would be one of those situations where if I can't have it, then nobody can. And that's kind of what it's come down to.
We speculated back in May of 2021. We had one of our ideas was to launch the What If stuff, kind of a spin off the Marvel Comics, What If series. And the first thing we did was, what if the WWE was sold? But we more looked at it as who would have bought it and who was going to be in charge at that point. I think that we'd known that this was going to happen. I don't think the part that we knew that Vince was going to get pinched for harassment, amongst other things, beforehand. So, he's wanting back in the fold, and he's going to get rid of it based exactly what you just said. If I can't have it, no one can have it.
I was briefly reading that before he came back, the board voted again not to let him back. And it was because there's like more information that hasn't come out yet, like theoretically, secretly, or whatever. Like there's more stuff. I hear he bit CM Punk's dog in a fight backstage. So might be a little rough.
Yeah, he did have a penchant for the bitches.
Yeah. And he fathered a hand with Mae Young.
No, that was Mark Handry. Mark Handry Jr.
Handry,
Mark Handry. But no, they're saying that it was basically he still had a controlling stake in the company, and basically you let to force his way back in, and that they let go of 3 people from the board to facilitate that, and now
then people also resigned from the board. One of them being the person leading the investigation into Vince McMahon's indiscretions. That's the word I'm looking for. Indiscretions.
Yeah, it's such a fucking mess, and who knows who's going to end up. But my dream is that it ends up being Eric Bischoff, or
I was gonna say Paul Heyman. That'd be cool.
Oh my god, if Paul Heyman could figure out a way to come out on top on this one, fuck a duck, that'd be fucking awesome. The only thing that would be bad is, look, we've seen a little bit of Paul Heyman's still, his booking and everything, and his story writing when he was head of creative not too long ago, and it's still mired in that. That old school mentality that we really do need to get away from. And it's just not, I don't know. We need somebody else, but at the same time, like, I would just love it for him to be the ultimate victor in this whole situation.
Yeah, I think, if I'm going to think about this correctly, it's going to be a corporate buy. So we're talking people we brought up before, NBC, Universal, Disney, Comcast, whoever, whatever those big corporation.
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I mean,
hey, they fucking might, man.
Who knows? The other thing, though, and I really think, at least up front, they would hopefully leave some of the main people that are currently running stuff kind of in place. The wrestling business is different. So unless you really know, the business inside and out, I can't imagine them trying to throw in people because that's what you get at the WCW. You started interjecting. I'm talking like WCW mid '90s. They started interjecting like, I think the guy's name was Bill Hurd, if I remember correctly, kind of running the show, and he was a TV guy. He wasn't a wrestling guy. He wasn't like Bischoff, who came up through, the territories and all that. They were actually throwing TV guys in there, and if you look back, watch WCW from like early 90s, like 92, 3, whatever, before Bischoff comes in, and it's unwatchable for the most part. So I don't know.
Saudi Arabia buys it, and they let the Iron Sheik and Sergeant Slaughter run it. Colonel for the hell his name was.
Nikolai Volkov?
No, there was back when Slaughter was a corporal.
General Mustafa.
That's it. Yeah.
All right, so let's go. Let's each give our best case scenario and our worst case scenario as far as who ends up buying it, and who they end up letting run it.
How much merch have we sold? Can we buy it? Do we have enough?
No, we actually need to figure out who it was that we need to contact that won the football league, so we can give them their free merch.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So we gotta reach out to Sammy and find out who won, so we can, because it was one of his people. So,
yeah, we'll have to get a shirt size or whatever, or if they want a pair of socks, we have Noise Brigade socks
or a mug,
stickers and mugs.
Noise Brigade cock ring.
Yeah, how are we doing with the R&D on the Noise Brigade vibrating cock ring?
I think that's on the next release.
Okay.
Yeah. That took a little more time to get flushed out.
Did we get the Bluetooth working on it yet?
That's the hardest part.
Yeah. All right. I figured as much.
Yeah, it's works great with iPhones, but Androids it's been a little touchy. Yeah.
The waterproofing isn't going that well either.
Yeah. What about the butt plug Bluetooth speaker?
It's shaped like a corn dog.
I wonder what kind of market there is for that. I wonder if there's people that do Bluetooth speakers in butt plugs, and like where the speaker grill is on the outside.
The chupacabra dildos though, going gangbusters.
Dude, that's the kind of shit that we should be selling, because that would get our name out there.
Small, medium, large, and Johnny Bench.
Yes, 100%. Small, medium, large, Johnny Bench, and Gregorio Unchained.
Going back to your thought though on that, talking about best case, worst case scenario of who's coming in, and then are you talking about like as far as who buys it, or then who's remaining in charge, or what happens here?
So like who buys it, and then who they install as basically their Bischoff or their Vince, or or their Triple H, if that's the way you want to go, or how they do it.
Okay.
So, Rich, we'll start with you. Who would be, if you were trying to figure out the best case scenario for for WWE and wrestling going forward?
Well, Ted Turner's only 84. He could Ted Turner, Hulk Hogan, and I don't know. I think the most likely thing is, if not Saudi Arabia, then who was it? Was it Time Warner? I forget who they said it was. The other people that were looking at it. It was another big corporation, and if the corporation gets it, the best bet is just letting Triple H continue with the way it is, and getting rid of the board and privatizing it. That'd be the right thing if it's owned by a corporation.
Yeah.
But whatever, just letting it run as it seems like everyone there was happier when it was just Triple H running it, and it was whatever. So keep it going that way. I mean, if everything was getting more positive, I haven't been watching it, so I can't speak to its anything. But Vince McMahon is old, and he seems to have a hard time keeping it in his pants. But the other thing is too, it's always been in his family, so it's kind of weird not to have a McMahon there. But I don't think Triple H is the closest thing he's got to a son that seems like he knows what he's doing. Because I know Shane's had some problems the last couple of years or so with the stuff. So I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Give it to Tony Khan. He's got everything else.
That's honestly, if I'm being honest, I have a feeling that there is an outside chance that somehow, some way, Tony Khan gets his fingers in there, and I don't. But that's the thing is, I can't see Vince letting that happen. I cannot see. Vince is such a vindictive piece of shit.
Doesn't his brother have some kind of part ownership in it anyway? That other Khan guy?
No, they're not related.
Yeah, they're not related. But
come on.
I just can't see him. He's such a hard-headed piece of shit that I can't see. It would have to be like a secret reveal, like it was me, Vince, it was me all along. After the deal goes through.
What if Ted Turner, Eric Bischoff, Paul Heyman, the guy that used to run Glow, what if they all teamed up and bought it? Like,
except can it just actually be Mark Maron? And not...
Yeah, let it be Mark Maron. Hey, I would support Mark Maron fucking buying it. Let him do it, man. All right. Tom, who's your best case scenario?
I'm gonna go with what we initially talked about, almost 2 years ago. I firmly believe that this is going to be in the Comcast / NBC Universal back pocket. They already have the Peacock network with exclusive United States rights and other countries. So all the content anyway.
ICP's been very quiet.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, hey man, Violent J and what was the other one? Shaggy
Skinny something. I don't know.
No, that would be what I'm guessing. I don't know.
Tequila. Not Filipino.
Tequila. She's gonna be the new women's champ.
I could see her sliding in like a Vicky Guerrero type role.
Jesus Christ.
No, I don't know. I'm assuming that that makes the most sense as far as who already has their hands on the company anyway. That library is the big part. I think we learned that with the WWE acquisitions of ECW, WCW, and then subsequently all these other libraries over the years. I mean, I don't know if you guys have actually thumbed through the network, but there is a ton of other stuff on there that they did not produce. Like old stuff, and then independent stuff, that they got their hands in with Evolve and they've had these other partnerships over the years. So there's a lot of stuff in there that's worth a lot of money to a lot of people. I don't know. best case obviously is Richie. I know Bobby feel the same way. He's leaving Triple H kind of running the show. That's his puppy, and like leave everyone else there as far as people that are currently in charge.
The Rock owns XFL, right? Whatever the hell that thing's called.
Yeah,
you could come in and buy it.
Yeah, I thought that too. I thought
Black Adam didn't do all that well, so maybe he doesn't have enough money right now. Even the next one.
I honestly think he could head up a leadership though, and be part of a, maybe not be the primary stakeholder, but he could be a leadership role of a company that purchases it. Say, hey, we're going to install you as a, But the problem with him is though, I think he'd be more looked as a figurehead,
right?
I don't know that he grew up in the business, but he's been out of the business so long now that I don't know that I'd want him dealing with it either. Personally, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that. Look, a lot of the stuff the guy touches is gold, but I don't know.
Dana White started. I don't know if he's starting it anymore. He was going to start that slap fighting thing, and then he slapped his wife. So I don't know what's going on with that anymore.
Oh,
but he might have some extra time. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't see that.
I didn't know he was doing a slap boxing thing.
Oh yeah. For some reason, it really got quiet after he had that video of him, slapping his wife around. So just bad timing on his part.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was a scumbag anyway, but
it's also like having them Russian slap videos been out for years now. It just seems like it's a little past its prime.
Oh, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, there's that was big in Russia. And that's what it looks like he's bringing over. It's just, let's say me and you are face to face, like we're getting ready to arm wrestle, but it's like I slap you, and then you slap me, and then I slap you until one of us can't take it anymore.
That just sounds like stupid. I don't know, man. That sounds like frat.
I didn't say it was a good idea. I'm just saying he was.
No. I legitimately don't know what the market. I mean, I get there is a market for it. There absolutely is a market for it because there's a market for every stupid fucking thing.
Yep.
That you can think of. That shit is some dumbass fucking frat boy, just dumb bullshit.
It was what was on the internet before anything else was on the internet.
Huh?
It's like one of the things that used to be on the internet before other stuff was on the internet.
Yeah. Like that's exactly what it is. Where the fuck is the entertainment in that? Like, ooh, he slapped him. Ooh, he slapped him harder. Who fucking cares? Like,
did he have cool walk-up music though?
That's the thing. The fucking walk-ups would take longer than the fucking slap fights. Like, what the fuck are we even doing here?
Yeah, worst case scenario on my part is just seeing it fall into a company that has no idea what they're doing with it. I think we saw that with the Time Warner acquisition of WCW. So, I certainly would not want to see anything like that happen, mainly because it's been around for a long, long time, and I love the competition now that's out there, but it's still kind of hard to hold a candle to anything the WWE is producing still now. So I would just hate to see that go away.
Hold on, I gotta say this because it came up and it just really fucking threw me. So one of you's dropped the Dana White slap boxing thing in the notes, but what it came up, the link it is
White
all
Power,
and it said White Power slap fight. Because of the way it was, I'm like, what the fuck is a White Power slap fight? Like, what the fuck is this shit? Oh shit!
Yeah.
No. I agree. And that's honestly my concern. If Tony Khan were to get his hands on WWE, what we're seeing right now is. And it can't happen this way because Time Warner's divesting themselves of all kinds of shit with the whole merger with HBO and the HBO Max and Discovery Plus and all that shit all coming together, and they're trying to cut shit back. So there won't be. But my concern would be with a company like that then having control of AEW and WWE, and then everything that WWE has going on, and all the shit that AEW has, they're not going to duplicate assets like that. The reason that it happened with Vince was because Vince wanted to fucking kill his competition. He wanted to destroy it. He wanted to be the sole provider of sports entertainment in the world, and that's what it was going to be. Tony Khan doesn't have those aspirations, I don't think, nor does he have the money to back it up to do it, nor would Vince sell to him. I don't think Time Warner wants to get their hands back in that, where they're the only ones doing anything with it. But I just got to hope that it's somebody like I'm going to fucking hate myself for saying this. I got to hope that it's somebody like Comcast, NBC Universal that seems to have some sort of vested interest in it, that would just leave Triple H and Stephanie to their devices to run the company as they see fit, keep their hands out of it, and just let it go. That would be my best case scenario. My worst case scenario would be for them to let Jeff Jarrett anywhere the fuck near it.
Yeah, it comes out that Jeff and his dad are going to be the two new ownership group.
I can't think of it.
I'm not going to WrestleMania.
WCW champion, the one that was in Scream.
Oh, David Arquette.
He's got to have some time in his hands.
Listen, man, I will never talk shit about David Arquette wrestling, because if you've seen David Arquette, what is that movie?
You Cannot Kill David Arquette.
Yeah, dude, you need to watch that shit. David Arquette really, truly, he went from that whole thing being a joke and whatever. He didn't view it as a joke, but everybody else viewed it as a joke. He took that personally, and he set out to make himself into a wrestler to the point where he almost died in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I give him all the fucking credit in the world, because he really stepped up from that and really became a wrestler. And I give him all the credit in the world, man.
Yeah, no, it's a great documentary. They really, it goes over his post WCW run, and then into, like you said, Bob, him training to become a wrestler and wrestling in Mexico and some of these really brutal things that he does. But then the incident with Nick Gage, where he almost kills him with a shard of, was it a shard of like a light tube or something?
Yeah. It was
like a pane of glass or something like that.
Yeah. I thought it was one of those. It was one of those light tubes, the fluorescent light tube, and he
caught him in the wrong spot or something, right. And then definitely worth it though. It's a good one. Yeah, I have a lot more respect for David Arquette, especially after all those times he survived in the Scream series. I mean, hell.
Yeah, you don't make it through all those Scream movies without having some kind of badass in you.
Officer Dewey.
Officer Doofy reporting for Dewey. Dude, we watched that at we watched Scary Movie. So during Hurricane Irma or Ian or whatever the fuck, Ian. When we were trapped at the station, we were trying to just take our minds off of shit and trying to keep our sanity any way we could. And one of the things we did was we watched Scary Movie. And I forgot how fucking classic that movie is. Just how brilliant the writing is. Like, it's so fucking funny. Like, it was just really good.
Yeah, those parody movies of that era, there's some just, oh man, they're hard to beat.
Dude, that and not another high school movie.
Oh, not another movie.
Yeah,
that's one of my all-time favorite movies, hands down. Anyway.
Yeah,
I have to watch it at least a couple times a year. And it's so crazy too, because like, I think I watched it for like the 40th time, and I remember looking at the beginning, and I was like, holy crap, that's Ted Mosby. Like, yeah, no idea until like I was like, wait a minute, it's just the weirdest thing. But
it's funny how that shit, like the little things you just, I've seen this how many times, and I'm just now fucking realizing that that's who that is. Like,
I want to bring us back to wrestling just for a minute. I was watching, what the hell? They called it the Battle for the Belts, or is that thing that AEW does every once in a while, right after whatever. And I know wrestling's fake, and I know that there's some kind of suspension of disbelief, but somehow Darby Allin beat Samoa Joe with a coffin drop. Now, Samoa Joe is 300 pounds of like pretty much pure muscle, and Darby Allin is 150-ish, maybe I think they billed him at 180. And the
Yeah,
coffin drop is literally just him falling off of the thing. I think Samoa Joe can take. Now, to be fair, he took 2 coffin drops. I don't get that.
yeah. I
That
mean,
bothers me. I don't get Darby Allin at all.
look, I
don't understand it.
So here you go, Rich. I'll just so we clarify this. Darby Allin is billed at 5'8", 180.
Okay.
Samoa Joe billed at 6'2", 310.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna say that Darby's more like
He
130.
kicked Wardlow's ass several times in this thing to win the TNT championship, but I don't think Darby Allin could beat Jade Cargill, who was also like 200 pounds of muscle.
Yeah, dude. Look, that's the thing, and that's why I've never really been able to like Rey Mysterio, is because he's like the size of a Tic Tac, and he's going in the main event against the Big Show, and he won the title off the Big Show. Nah, man, sorry, Minions can't beat the Big Show.
I don't know if you remember the Princess Bride. If you just like jump on his back and choke him out.
Yeah, but he wasn't doing that shit. He was hitting him with the 619.
And even an old Andre the Giant with back problems and stuff, I think is still a better wrestler than the Big Show. At that time. Maybe in his prime, the Big Show may have been a little better, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dude, look, you hit the nail on the head, though. It is suspension of disbelief. But yeah, that's my problem. Like, I love all different types of wrestlers. I love all different types of wrestling. But make it make sense. The moves have to make sense. And the coffin drop is just not. If he was Samoa Joe's size and he's doing a coffin drop, cool, I buy it.
Yokozuna had that move where he just got on the bottom rope and sat on you. And that was, I could believe that would hurt. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because the dude is 500 pounds.
Yeah. I mean, all he could get up to was on that top, that first rope. You're not going to expect him to get any higher than that, which is fine.
Right. But yeah.
He wasn't Japanese, by the way.
He was Samoan.
He was part of the Samoan family. Yeah. It's like the Rock's cousin or uncle, or
I don't know. They're all somehow related.
They're all related. Yeah.
It's like Johnny Betch is everybody's dad somehow.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
I like. Don't get me wrong, and I do kind of like Darby Allin, but it's hard for me to see him beating Samoa Joe. It's hard for me to see him.
Pussy. They had to give him Sting so he looks like less of a pussy. And then he's so skinny that he has to wear tight so he doesn't look quite. Because if you just saw them skinny little legs in the thing, it'd be even worse. It's like you just laugh at him, and at least this way you'd be laughing, and he could beat you up while you're laughing because you can't do anything else. But I love my love of Sky Blue is known on this podcast. But she can't wrestle. It's almost time to get rid of her. Like, I just
damn.
Yeah, no, she's not picking anything up. They're just they keep putting her on TV because she's hot, and I'm okay with that. But just she can't wrestle. Willow Nightingale, who started around the same time, though, is really good. I like Willow Nightingale. Just keep her on there. Not as attractive, but she has talent.
Yeah, there's something to be said. I think the back in the 90s, it was easy to throw a pretty face out there week after week because you knew they weren't going to be doing much in-ring stuff. And that's just how it was. I'm not saying it was right. That's how it was. Now you start doing stuff like that. There's a lot more exposure because there's a lot of in-ring work. And
now she's young and she could probably get better, but it's not working.
I'm putting down my notes as we're going so I can remember what the fuck we talked about for the write-up. And I'm definitely in the description of this episode. It's going to say Rich shoots on Darby Allin and Sky Blue. Richie's fucking heel turn on the love of his life, Sky Blue. Yeah. Well, it's kind of he's gonna
and despite all of our winning streaks and stuff like that, we have to take a backseat to Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal and their stupid everything. That's another worthless stable. Would you call them a stable? Like
Yeah.
that big tall guy who has no talent whatsoever, and then the little guy who's got at least the little guy can talk a little bit. But
I
I
like
like
Jay Lethal.
yeah.
I just don't like
Eh,
Jeff Jarrett.
he's
Jay Lethal
boring.
was. I've always thought he was cool, particularly back to the early ROH days with him. I always thought he was cool, but I don't know. You put Jeff Jarrett with anybody, I'm not going to like you much anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, Jeff Jarrett just kind of ruins everything he touches.
Yeah.
And I just keep him the fuck away from everything. Like we send him, can he go live in Russia? Can we just drop him just like, or would that be a war crime? Is that against the Geneva Convention?
Give him to the Saudi Arabians. They like wrestling. There you go.
Oh, that's fucking brilliant. It solves all of our problems. Give Jeff Jarrett to the Saudis and then let him build them a fucking wrestling organization. We don't have to fucking deal with him. And then they can fucking have their wrestling. That's perfect.
Yeah. What I couldn't figure out here with, on the whole Jeff Jarrett thing, you guys have
a sitar instead of that guitar that he carries out. So it's like a little, just work it a little bit. One of them curly boots that the Iron Sheik used to wear, and Sabu. There you go. Works out well.
you guys know Jeff's little run with Global Force Wrestling, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember reading the dirt sheets whenever he was doing that, and it was like, this sounds like the biggest pyramid scheme like ever, because he was trying to find investors on this new brand because he was out at TNA, so he's no longer in a co-investor there, so he wanted to start another brand, and it just sounded like not quite as bad as the Herb Abrams stuff, the UWF from like the 1990. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. If you're not, look it up. Herb Abrams, cokehead, yeah, RIP, whatever. But that's what it sounded like. It sounded like he was just trying to swindle people for money. So,
hey,
Well,
speaking
we
of
know.
RIP, did we shout out Don West?
no, I don't think we did. Man, it sucks.
And no more Gem Mint 10 getting
I know.
screamed at us at 3 a.m.
Don West, yeah, he died the day before New Year's Eve. He was only 59, so he had suffered a long battles over well over a year, about a year and a half's worth. He had lymphoma of the brain, and it sucks. I always liked Don West because I remember him coming on and trying to sell me baseball cards as I was, middle of the night trying to sleep, but I'd left the TV on. And he's the one that woke me up. It wasn't my alarm. It was him at 2:30 in the morning.
It's shouting Gem Mint 10 and
Gem Mint 10,
like orgasming as he's saying it. Like, it's a Jism Mint 10.
Oh, he was the best. Yeah, and I always joked about things that I thought I heard he said, but I'm still pretty certain that he really would have said them. Like, if you don't buy this, I'm going to kill you. I mean,
if you don't buy this. Right, I've got a box of kittens right here. I'm going to throw them in the fire.
Exactly. I just thought it was so cool years later how he actually became a wrestling commentator.
Yeah.
It made a lot of sense.
Who was fit for that.
Yeah.
Did you know Jeff Jarrett has his own podcast?
Mm-hmm.
It's got 3 more listeners than ours.
Yeah, he does it with the Podfather, Conrad Thompson.
Oh, then he's got a lot. Never mind. He's got a lot of.
When I Googled Don West, that was like one of the first things that came up was Jeff Jarrett commenting on his passing.
Yeah, I actually listened to some of the first episodes of Jeff Jarrett's pod that he did with Conrad. I don't know that he still does it with Conrad, but
I am elated that he's no longer with us because he's out of pain.
Yeah,
okay. I was wondering where that was going for a second. I'm like, hold on
there, Jeff. Yeah, his pod's actually not bad. The problem with him is more just him. He's got a lot of good stories. Really good storyteller too. But it's still Jeff Jarrett, so
right.
I don't know. Anyhow,
I'm about as big a fan of him as I am of Bubba Ray Dudley.
Bubba.
Yeah.
Bubba.
What did Ray Dudley do other than Hulk Hogan's daughter? Oh,
He just strikes me as one of those like sour grapes. Like the new generation is a bunch of soft little soy boys kind of deal. Like, he's mad that newer talent is getting over. So
didn't Tommy Dreamer run a wrestling thing? Can he run WWE? He's still
Yeah,
good,
he
right?
ran House
He's
of
still a kid, right?
Hardcore.
House of Hardcore, yeah.
He
I
seems
mean,
cool.
I don't think that they would put him in charge, but I'd be willing to. I'd watch. I'd watch.
Yeah, I don't know the Tommy. I like Tommy Dreamer. I've always have, but I don't know that he would be the person I put in charge of multi-billion-dollar company.
Yeah, I
Who
feel like
owns Foxy Boxing and the lingerie bowl?
what?
Bring back the Diva belts and stuff. There you go.
Jesus. Speaking of going back to the 70s.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I guess the best way to close it up is I guess I hope that whoever ends up buying it is either competent or is willing to say, hey, we don't know what the fuck we're doing, and let's Triple H and Stephanie stay on and run it if that's what they want to do.
Yeah, look. There's money to be made there. If there was no money, the company would have ceased to exist many years ago. So much like professional sports, it is turning over a pretty good profit year in, year out. So
Elon Musk is getting ready to stop being the CEO of Twitter, so he has something he could do. He could go buy them and.
Jesus, can you imagine if Elon Musk bought WWE?
Yeah, I don't think that'll work.
I don't think so either. That would be kind of funny though. Wait, maybe Elon Musk can buy that Russian slap fighting league, and then he can put himself up against Mark Zuckerberg, and he can have Dana White up against. I can't think.
On a positive note, I hear that guy that had the heart attack is coming back out of the hospital soon. Like he's apparently recovered really well.
Yeah, he's done
Yeah,
he's recovering really well. The Bills had a game today, and they obviously had nothing to do with him, but they scored a touchdown on the kickoff return.
Did they win one for the Kipper?
They did. They did win one for the Kipper.
And
Yeah,
I think the Eagles won. I saw earlier. That's probably good.
They did. Yes, they
weren't cussing, so they must have won.
They won. They won. I mean,
it took 5 field goals.
It's all right. Look, you know what?
The Super Bowl.
We're 2 wins away from the Super Bowl. So
yeah, because it's going to be us against either the Cowboys or Bucks. Right?
Yeah, I think the Cowboys or Bucks are the lowest.
We already lost against the Cowboys.
Not in the playoffs.
Yeah, not in the playoffs.
Is it like double elimination, like over the top? It's double elimination.
Double elimination over the top.
I don't know. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Damn it. My recording got stuck.